Behind the Frenzy, sponsored by the My Auto Group.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Behind the Frenzy podcast. I'm your host, Dean Holsworth, along with my good buddy, Andy McDonald, and we are here for another week of high school football here in the West Michigan area. Football Frenzy is going to have up to 20 games next week, or this coming up week. First of all, we're going to talk about last week.
Yeah.
First of all, 3 games remaining in the regular season, Andy.
It's crazy, man.
We talk about it a lot.
It's been it's been flying by, and it gets to the point now where the weather's actually starting to turn a little bit outside, and it starts to feel like it's actually getting towards the playoffs, which is the best time of the year. That's when we start to get towards that.
Best time of the year. And another good part of this time is teams are now battling for conference championships.
Mm-hmm.
There are some teams this week that can win conference championships in their respective conferences.
For sure, and it's like in the battle for the points, to be able to get into the playoffs these days, the new system and everything that's in there. And but now that it's almost like through its second year, do you like that? The point system,
I do.
You think it's good? Yeah,
I do.
I agree
Because you had teams in the past that would pad their schedule with we'll say high school cupcakes, right? So they get to that 6 win, those 6 wins. Now that's just not the case.
Beat your one big conference opponent maybe, and then get a lot, and make it because of that. Yeah, it's kind of crappy. So I like how they have to schedule the teams like that early in the year, and I think it makes the games some of these games are so much more competitive every single week now. It seems like that I'm covering. There's always every weekend when I go to a game, it seems like at least one of my games are competitive, and I feel like a lot of that's because they play better teams early on, test themselves, and become better as a team when it gets later in the year. So.
100%. You are rewarding tougher schedules.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, you could be, obviously now in this day and age, you can be 3-6 and still make the playoffs just because of your strength of schedule. So, I love that. All right, let's talk about last week. Obviously, the game of the week was Rockford and Hudsonville.
Always is.
Tail, it's kind of two halves in that game. Hudsonville goes up 28-0 in the first half, and you think
that's crazy.
Rockford, 10,000 people, number one, were at Rockford last week. Homecoming, and they're getting absolutely walloped at halftime. And then here comes Rockford, They're too good of a team not to come back, right? So they come back. They make it 28-21. And the catch of the year, number one in Sports Center's top place.
That's insane.
And we're going to watch it right here. Brady Van Lake rolls out. And just a great one-handed catch by Lawson Weber.
It's insane to actually watch it. See, the thing about some of these places, when you watch it, it feels like maybe it isn't going to be a catch. Is it just a high school game and the ref just calls it a catch? No, that's a catch. He caught that ball.
So go ahead, sorry.
It was phenomenal. I mean, to see him actually get a leg down and keep it in bounds and make that catch. You fall that hard to the ground with it in one arm and you catch it. I mean, I don't know if they're putting something crazy on their gloves these days or what it is, but man, that almost looks impossible for him to catch that ball. And
here was the discussion. I don't want to mention here. Look at his jaw. Look at his mouth.
It's wide open.
It was wide open. He was did he just see it right there?
I'm sure Bill will appreciate the mention either way.
Did he make that catch right there? And it was by far the best high school catch I've ever seen.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
And here's the discussion we had at work, Andy. So look, what hand did he catch that with? His left hand.
That's insane.
Right?
It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense, right? Because if you're a righty, that's going to be your strong hand. But the defender, I thought, did a great job on that, and he was, I feel like, taking away his right hand.
That's how it usually goes.
So he had to go up with his left hand on that one. But just a tremendous catch, like I said. It made Sports Center's number one play on Saturday morning.
No, that's the kind of what you just mentioned about the defender there. That sucks so much for them because half the time when it's a great catch, it's usually they're playing great defense, getting them he's pushing them that sideline, everything that goes in that play to make him where he can barely even have that much room to even get a foot in bounds.
Yeah.
Still makes the catch. I mean, it's just there's nothing you can do about it but be like, wow, I can't believe you just caught that.
I think Jack said the thing. He's like, what's up with Hudsonville kids making one-handed catches? Obviously, that's a slot from Hudsonville Unity Christian, and now you got this kid. So
so many people I saw asking isn't that where Tesla's from? They got the Lions drafted, blah blah whatever. It's I don't know. Maybe they spend 5 days in the summer out in that area, just catching one-handed
catches
or something.
So anyway, that ended up being the game winner. Rockford came back. Hudsonville prevailed 35-28.
Yeah.
And so that was obviously the game winner overall. So they take over sole possession of first place in the OK Red.
Does that game ever not live up to the hype? Does it ever not live up? Every year it seems like
Rockford, Hudsonville, and Hudsonville's BM now 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
So, all right, another one that we had. We'll talk about the one I was at real quick. Unity Christian was at Zeeland West. Homecoming for Zeeland West as well. Huge crowd. the one thing about that, so yeah, we had 2 wing tee offenses going against each other, okay? So the first quarter in real time took 11 minutes. Game started at 7 o'clock. First quarter I got done, I looked at my watch, or my phone, it was 7:11. It was, because they're not throwing, right? They're just, and there wasn't.
That'll happen a lot.
There wasn't a lot of points scored.
Teams,
I think the game got done at 8:35. One of the quickest high school football games I've ever seen.
Wow.
Both defenses were really good. Uni Christian just made a few more plays in that game. But that's a big win for Uni over the defending state champs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to see that score was kind of surprising to me.
14-6.
In general, I was just like, wow, this is what the final was. But yeah, that's one of those things that no matter what, whether it's an offensive shootout like we kind of expected, or if the defense takes over, Unity Christian just seems to find a way to get a win. These under their coaching staff, they found a way to get a lot of these big wins. They've needed it over the past few years, and it doesn't really surprise me that they were able to pull it out again under Coach Tibby. There, he's been great for them. So. It's definitely a tip of the hat to them. They're able to win when they do score that many points, and they're still able to find a win when they don't score that many points.
Yeah, it's funny you say. I talked to Coach Tibby after the game, and we kind of talked about that because they hadn't really been tested up until this point. I think Forcible Central, he said, gave them a game in the first half the week before, but they hadn't really been in these moments where they had to, get key first downs or make a big stop on defense. So I think it really showed him a lot about his team. So 2 turnovers for Uni Christian, so they overcame that in that game. But so fourth quarter, Zeeland West gets an interception. Uni Christian gets a big fourth quarter or fourth down stop. So there's like 8.5 minutes left in the game. Uni Christian, Zeeland West doesn't touch the ball again. Uni Christian just ran out the clock with this long drive and just nailed it.
That's another mark of a great team.
And that was it.
When you're able to do stuff like that at the end of the game.
Pick up key first downs.
Yeah, exactly. When you can get first downs late in a game like that and bleed out the clock, there's nothing more demoralizing for an opponent, especially at that level. I mean, you usually think you can get out the field eventually in those kind of situations and you know what's coming. And just to be able to not get the chance to get it back is backbreaking. So that's what Uni Christian's able to do, man. They find a way to win games, and it won't surprise me if we see them going deep into the playoffs here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Last game was the Battle of Muskegon that went to Muskegon Big Reds, who beat Mona Shores last week. I did take Mona Shores in that game, but Muskegon has won 4 in a row now, and they're really playing well since that 0-2 start.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't blame you for taking Mona because it's one of those games where it's like really could have went either way. I like a lot of the talent Mona Shores have, but they've been tested a few times this year, and they've been upset a few times. They have a lot of talent in that offense, but there's some new faces there too. Muskegon also, though, has a lot of new faces and kind of leans in their defense a little bit more than they might have been used to in the past. They still have so much talent. I trust Shane to get kids going. Like as the season goes along, there's no coach that I trust more than Shane Fairfield because he's been able to get to the finals so many times. And he's definitely that's a big win for them either way. It's a Mona Shores team that probably felt like they had a great chance to win that game, and Muskegon goes in there and takes care of business. Yeah,
and now Mona Shores, I'm not saying they're in a must-win situation because they have had a pretty tough schedule, but They got to win now here down the stretch.
They do. It's again, we just talked about it a little bit ago with getting those points. That if you don't get this win, we talked about it coming into this game with both teams being 3-2 coming in. If you don't get this win, you're going to be looking at the 500 record. It's very, very tough to make the playoffs after that if you don't maybe win out. So they're going to definitely have to win a few of their games. They did have a very tough schedule. They've scheduled some very hard teams. So I think this is definitely crucial that they come out and find a way to win a couple of their games in a row here.
Yep, definitely. Any games where were you at last week? Let's talk about.
I was at Kennewick Hills. Jack sent me to where I just was. I just get more and more amazed every single week. I was going to mention them a little bit because they played against one of the teams that we have. But Kennewick, they played Lowell, and in my lifetime, if Kennewick plays Lowell, you pretty much know what the final is going to be before.
100%.
So
there's going to be a dean that basically beats you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no matter what, at some point, some big kid's going to run you over, and that's going to be it. Yeah, exactly. And that's not how it went. It was Kennewick doing the dominating from almost start to finish. I mean, the first quarter was very close. It was 14-7. Actually, Lowell was leading at one point, but man, their offense is so much speed on the outside. They have receivers that can play. That team, London Hampton is a running back. That kid will not go down. I mean, if you get him out in space and somebody tries to tackle, I mean the plays he was rolling out of and getting away with. I mean, so many long touchdowns in that game. It's just so much fun to watch, and the atmosphere that Kennewick has going for that school right now. I'm telling you, 5-1. It's something to pay attention to, and it's special right now. They have a lot of talent, and that I love the way that River City Lions at that conference. Yeah, that's how it should have been my entire life and everything. Like those teams are so much more competitive. You actually feel like anybody can win them. And even though teams like Lowell would have dominated back then, it feels like teams like this have more of a chance now. They're not playing against teams that are they're just kind of like Muskegon's just. I mean, they have more athletes than Division One, more to pick from. Whatever it is, Kennewood has a lot of great kids in that team right now, and I'm excited to see what they're able to do for the rest of the year. Because I think it was 42-14 when I left. So
that is crazy.
It's insane. Yeah, it's just crazy they've been able to do and been able to dominate. And defensively, that was their problem for most of the year, and they've been able to kind of lock that down and hold some teams in check. So
I think Kennewood Hills is our Northview from last year, right? Like that surprise team that we talked about at the start of the year. Like which team's going to emerge as like the surprise team in the area?
Yep.
And that's been Kennewood Hills.
Yeah, I would have never guessed it was the one I got so much of a relation to, but it's been a lot of fun to watch. And Don Fellows deserves a lot of credit for what he's been able to do over there and get those kids to play like that. Because I mean, he's
a
impressive.
great coach. I mean, state champion.
Exactly.
Coach.
Yeah. He's everywhere he goes, he finds a way to turn it around very quickly. So it's definitely a credit to him on that.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at, we're going to have 4 spotlight games this week. As I said, we're going to be covering 20 games on Friday night. I don't think we're expecting any rain, maybe a slight chance, but it doesn't matter.
No, we don't think about that.
All right, 4 spotlight games this week. First one, big one down in the Kalamazoo area, Portage Northern at Portage Central. Portage Central did give up its first touchdown last week, so now they've only outscored their opponents 284-10 on the season. But big rivalry game.
Yeah.
You know, Portage Northern has had a really good season as well. This is going to be a great showdown.
No, it always is. I mean, these two teams bring it, man. They had some talent on both sides every year, and they know when they play each other, this is usually going to be one of the biggest games of the year. So it doesn't surprise me that this game is setting up to be this way in conference. So I expect it to be one of those games that's kind of hard fought, probably a little low scoring at first, but somebody who takes that big blow, makes the big play, usually tends to win this game. I've covered it a couple of times.
Yeah.
I think at some point that'll happen. So we'll see who's able to pull it out.
Yep, that'd be good. Hudsonville, no rest for the weary.
Right.
As far as they go, you go from Rockford, now you're going to play an East Kentwood team that's having its best season, I think, since 2017 or 18, or best start so far at 5-1. Their only losses to Rockford this year. So you got Cade Kaufman going to Michigan State.
Yeah.
So Hudsonville's got another big test, I think. I think it does help they're going to be at home, but East Kentwood's obviously a really good team.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is you want to avoid the letdown if you're Hudsonville, but Brent Sandy, time and time again, just keeps proving that he's not going to let his team get down. They're going to stay up no matter what and keep going through the season. I mean, this is looking like another team that maybe we didn't see coming in the season that was going to make a deep run because they lost some guys, and all of a sudden here they are undefeated. But for East Kentwood, they had a little bit of a letdown a couple of weeks ago, and they had their first loss, and I think they've been looking for that win to really, really, really staple that they're here. Like they are a team that's for real and they can win this conference. This is your chance. I mean, there's not, you don't really need to spell it out. They go out there and win this game. It gives them every chance to win this conference. So
100%.
Huge game.
And it would be back-to-back conference titles for Hudsonville, which hasn't happened, and I have no.
So this game speaks for itself, and it's just a big game for so many different reasons that are written and unwritten, really.
Yep, definitely. All right, we are going to go to a different conference. We're actually covering some schools this week that we haven't in the past. Battle Creek, Harper Creek goes to Hastings. Both teams are 5-1 on the season. And what's interesting with me when I was kind of doing research on this game was Battle Creek, Harper Creek is the team that knocked Hastings out of the postseason last year.
Oh, wow. Okay. So,
there's a little bit of motivation for Hastings.
No, then Harper Creek's had some good wins. The team we were just talking about, Kennewood Hills, we were praising, that is their one loss in the year is to Harper Creek. So they definitely have some talent over there, and I haven't been able to see them in person yet, but I'm excited to see what happens. Hastings usually seems to have a pretty good program that's around, but it's definitely a big chance for them to kind of put themselves in the mat in the spotlight here.
Yep. Last one is Kent City, undefeated Kent City, by the way, against Central Montcalm. Central Montcalm obviously has had another really good season. They went 9-2 last year, but Kent City 6-0, and they've kind of been dominating teams as well this year.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, honestly, when it comes to these two teams, when I see Central Montcalm, I don't know as much about them, but I know that Kent City every single year finds a way to bring it. It seems like.
Yeah,
so. It wouldn't surprise me if Kent City was able to win this one in a big way. Actually, I mean, the last 2 weeks they've outscored their opponents 121-0. Wow. So their offense is definitely clicking on all cylinders right now, and I think if I had to pick in this game, I'm going to pick Kent City to keep going at this undefeated record right now. I don't think I can go away from them. That's for sure.
Let's finish up with that. I'm going to go with Kent City as well for our picks here.
We got that one out of the way. We know
I'm going to go with Hastings over Battle Creek, Harper Creek. I like Hastings at home.
Sure.
I do like Hudsonville to kind of avoid that letdown against EK, and I do think Portage Central keeps on rolling.
Yeah, I can't see Portage Central losing. Just too dominant in every game so far. I got to pick them. I'm not going against Hudsonville this time. I've done it a couple
You learned
times.
your lesson.
Brent, I appreciate you letting me come out to your practices and stuff.
Hey.
But yeah, no, they're going to win this week. I have almost no question about my mind. East Kentwood's a great opponent, but Hudsonville just seems to be on a different mission right now. So it'll be a good game, but I think Hudsonville pulls away with their experience now, and I'll take Harper Creek in this one. I think that they're going to get the job done.
Different in one game.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's. I don't have to. I just think that's how it's going to go. I think from what I've seen from Harper Creek's schedule and some of the teams they played, I think they can get the job done this week against Hastings.
I agree. Okay, good. Well, hey, thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Behind the Frenzy, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye.